In my next video, I'll show you how I can go from black to white with just one bleaching. Now, what do I use? I use Kiss's Snow White and I put a part of bleaching powder in my bowl. I add one part, 6%, because I'm working on the roots and I want to keep the hair as strong as possible during the bleaching process. So I add step 1 of the KERABOND to my mixture to stir it well so that there are no more lumps, that it's one mass. The producer, apply it thickly, and really the secret to good bleaching is that you use enough product where it's needed. So I'm heavily applying on the roots, and I'm also working with very small sections, as you can see here. They are very thin slices. I'm going to set my bleach because I want that about where there's an equal amount of product everywhere. I take a small pass, I put it both at the top and at the bottom, on both sides. I put my product. When I'm done with the full application, I let it sit for 20 minutes. I give the roots a head start because the length points, as you can see, are quite yellow. So I want to lighten that up a bit too. I do this with 1 part Snow White, 1 part 3%, and also kerosene. I add to it, and the ratio is exactly on the bottle how much you need to use. The stimulus just stays in there. And I'm going to set the length points with a board, because then I can push the product well into the hair. The onset just continues. The length tips, now I put it against it with my 3%. And I use a foil at the bottom section to protect my cape. I'm going to put all the rest of the sections on top. Be careful, nice and thin sections, and apply everywhere, top and bottom. After the length points have been sitting for 45 minutes, I check my roots. My roots have, of course, been sitting for an extra 20 minutes. Because while I was applying to the lengths and ends, I could just continue with the roots. When I then reach a level, when it's 9, I rinse everything off. I still deal with some yellow pigment, especially at the roots. And I wash out my bleach paste with the Keramax shampoo from Kiss. Make sure you remove all bleach everywhere and also well in the neck. Always take good care of a neck. When I have towel dried it, when I have rinsed everything out, you will see that the roots are yellower than the ends. Before I show it, I first want to get rid of that extra pigment. For this, I use our No Yellow shampoo. The No Yellow shampoo, as the name suggests, combats yellow pigment. I can't apply it directly to the lengths, otherwise my lengths would overreact. So for myself, to work accurately, I apply the No Yellow shampoo with a bowl and a brush so that I exactly where it's yellow can work. The contouring is white, so I wouldn't apply it there. After a waiting period of 15 minutes, I make sure to take everything into account. I rub it through the ends for a moment, just to neutralize that last bit of yellow, and I don't let it set, I rinse it out immediately. Because from here I can start applying the toner. You can see I've already lost a lot of yellow pigment, but I still need to apply a toner here. What am I using? From Kiss, the concept color White Rose, and it consists of 12 cc lavender, 30 cc 10 SP and 30 cc neutral. Then I get that very nice cool white color that I also want to achieve. When I've applied the colors in a dish, I make sure, before I apply my peroxide, that I first mix the colors together. I work with a DMI, which is 1.9%, because I want to color it gently. I have bleached it, so to keep the hair as strong as possible, I use KERABOND. Step 1. When I'm going to apply the toner, I also make sure I use enough product. Because this is also very important, I apply it evenly everywhere, use narrow passes, and when I put in the length points, I do this with a board. This way, I can apply the color a bit deeper into the hair. Only for the bottom passe, I use a foil to protect the cape. All the passes above that, I just lay on top of it. When I have fully applied the Kiss concept color White Rose, I let it soak for 20 minutes. Every now and then, you can surely check what it does to the hair, but when you inspect the hair, always scrape off some color. but I left this toner for 20 minutes before I started to rinse it out. I've used KERABOND in my bleaching and I've used KERABOND in my toner. And you really notice a difference when you shouldn't skip it because the hair is always stronger. As we all know, when we bleach, there's always a chemical assault on the hair. I'm using the Guy Maxon again. To remove all paint residues from the hair, before I finally close off my color completely, I finish it off with step 2 of KERABOND. I use 2 pumps because Tali has quite a bit of hair, and I let this whole thing soak in for 2 minutes. Not too long because it's really not necessary. Then I will dry it nicely, and here is the final result. And this is really not Photoshop. From black to white with 1 bleach session,